So I was talking to my mom to know how her labor was with me because I know I'm born at 8 in the morning and that she had an epidural. I've seen the picture, but I just never knew actually how her labor went. And I was like, you know what, maybe what went with her will go for me. Okay, so I asked her, did she have contraction for weeks, whatever. She's like, nope, contraction started at midnight. At 3 a.m. it was getting more intense. Apparently my dad went and showered, they got ready. At 5 they left, 5:30 they were at the hospital. 8 a.m. I was born. Yeah. I am the firstborn child too, by the way. That was her first child. So it does show that things can happen out of nowhere, contraction out of nowhere, and then she fully had me 8 hours later after contraction started. So it kind of gave me hopes that, you know what, if it happened for her, maybe it could happen for me. My dad was actually saying that he said that I'm doing the right thing to not get an epidural because even though they work in the medical field, they knew the anesthesiologist at the time, whatever. My dad had to push on my mom's belly because my mom could not feel any contraction in what she was doing and pushing for me to come out. Another thing that I did not know, and I also know that they use the forceps or vacuum on my head, which is another thing I don't want because she could not feel any contraction and she could not feel anything she was doing. So it does confirm even more of why I don't want an epidural. At the same time, I also know that my mom had an incompetent cervix. I think it was more for my sister. The last 2 months of pregnancy, I guess back in the day they used to do cervical check all the time, which we don't do now. Now it's more with the ultrasound, they check the cervix. But her midwife did the cervical check and she was 2 centimeter dilated, like at 7 months pregnant. So they put her on bed rest. So maybe that also helped with labor, obviously, because if you have an incompetent cervix or that your cervix is already soft or dilated, obviously you're gonna go into labor faster. So maybe that also helped. So if it happened for her, maybe it will happen for me. I'm just hoping that even nothing happened this week, it's totally fine. I'm not ready. My husband is not ready. We're fine. We kind of want to have a March baby. We like, in my head is like we're having a March baby. So like this is still February, so I'm not ready, if that makes sense. And it's only 38 weeks and 3 days now. So if she comes, she comes. But my goal is for induction on Sunday, which actually the hospital just called me to confirm. I have to get there at 10 p.m. So the next day on Monday. My goal, I guess, and my hope, my wish for my labor, but obviously it never goes as planned, right? Is to have an easier labor, if that makes sense, and not start from scratch, zero. I'm like completely not, cervix is hard and not ripe and nothing.